Hi, Alexi here. Welcome back to my channel where I do sometimes, against all odds, miss 2016 makeup for James Charles. So I already made a brief video discussing how self-admitted predator James Charles's viral crash out last week was proof that he never really was cancelled. The fact that he has 400,000 or so followers to lose proves that, like many problematic white beauty influencers, looking at you, Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, James might have faced some consequences for his many cancellations, but was able to bounce back because cancel culture is fake. Yay! To recap, he made a viral TikTok literally screaming about how a former employee of Spirit Airlines, who, like 17,000 other employees, was let go with absolutely no warning after the airline abruptly closed, was lazy for messaging him a GoFundMe link. He gave some really shitty job advice as well.
Because in the time that it took you to copy and paste the same ass message to myself, who you don't follow, by the way, and probably 100 other influencers and celebrities, you could have applied for 100 other jobs, but you didn't because you're a lazy piece of shit and you're entitled. And you think that influencers and celebrities should fund your life for you. Why would I ever help you? You're not a fan. You don't even follow me. You've never supported me. This is your first time DMing. And you think that I'm gonna send you money because you lost your job? Oh my God, welcome to the real world, sweetheart.
Like, tell me you've never applied to a job without telling me you've never applied to a job. I think Kat Black actually just made a video about this. I read her like Threads posts at the end of my last video, and she talks about how, like, with the existence of ghost jobs where you just apply and they collect data on you to figure out how low they can set their desired salary, like, it's even more insulting that James Charles is like, just apply to 10 companies. James Charles also asserted that she was white, pretty, and able-bodied, so she's privileged. James Charles posted one apology video and it was not well received, so he deleted it and posted another. But also, I think actually the first shitty apology was technically two parts, and the second one was maybe finally written by a PR team and is still up. All of this was taking place on his spam account, by the way. So his apology is not on his, like, real account. Don't go looking there for anything. You can also find takes on the hantavirus on his spam page, though, if you scroll down a little bit, because you're morbidly curious when you see hantavirus real big.
I keep seeing videos on my For You page of people that are like literally on the boat, and they're like, oh my God, like, I just want to see my family, I just want to go home. That is home now. You're not going home. You're not going home. The only way you're getting off that boat, I fear, is if you walk the plank. You guys, you gotta take one for the team. So I know it sucks, but you guys are just gonna have to, like, build a new community, build a new society on a cruise ship. It could be worse. Could be like a, little dinghy.
Yeah, that's great. I promise I'm not about to become reaction slop here. I do just want to respond to that, like, deleted apology type of thing, because there were some points there that were brought up where I was like, oh, that's wild, man.
Video that I posted yesterday talking about people who send me GoFundMe links that have never followed, supported, DM me before, just begging for money. And most people were like enjoying the video, saying it was a valid point, but it definitely started causing some discourse in the comments. And a lot of people were just saying it was out of touch and insensitive. And they're right. It was definitely a harsh choice of words, maybe not my best video. And I deleted it, but of course the internet is forever. And now a lot of content creators are using like the 5-second clip in the very beginning where I'm like, you're a lazy piece of shit, get a new job, to upload their cute little think pieces being like, influencers are all so out of touch. This is so disgusting. You don't know how hard it is in the job market these days. Oh my God, give me a fucking break. I am out of touch, first and foremost, okay? I am never going to be one of those influencers that gets online and pretends to be poor so I can come across as relatable to my audience. I think it's tacky, I think it's annoying, and I also think it's quite insulting to the audience watching, as if you guys are going to be fooled into thinking that. You've been watching.
So, one thing about me is I do think that Shane Dawson has really infected my brain in a lot of ways, just because I am fascinated with the alternate reality that does exist, where I did become some sort of alt-right something because of his weird conspiracy theory videos. I don't know if that was meant to be poking at Shane Dawson, who does pretend to be poor on the internet and is also a child predator. So, like, actually, why are the girls fighting right now? But, like, here's the thing. James Charles trying to position himself as, like, respectful of his audience because he's not pretending to be poor. Like, no, you just made a video, like, screaming at somebody who was recently unemployed asking for help. You clearly don't respect your audience for other reasons.
For 10 years now, it's no secret that I have been able to find success doing what I've done. It didn't start that way though. I started from literally nothing and had a dream for myself and was determined to literally do anything to make it happen. And luckily, I've been blessed to be able to do that and now call this my full-time job. The reason I made that video yesterday though was a lot of people these days do not have the make it work mentality. They have no desire to actually put in the effort to try to fix a problem and get themselves out of a situation. They immediately result in asking for help. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for help.
Sorry for like pausing and talking every 2 seconds. I'm not really a reaction channel kind of guy, I fear. This wording of like starting out from nothing and is fortunate and blessed to have what he now has really rubs me the wrong way because, first of all, like, I don't know anything for sure, right? But he didn't start with nothing. Like, he started out as a 16-year-old and he had the privilege of being able to like live with his family and dedicate time to growing this YouTube career, this content career, right? He didn't have to balance that with taking care of a parent or having a part-time job, for example. As far as I know, right? I could, of course, be completely wrong. And he really is that nuanced and deep of a person. I feel like he wouldn't shut up about it if that was the case. Kat Black talks a little bit about this. Jackie Ina also, I'll touch on her follow-up video, but she talks a bit about this as well. He has white, cis, able-bodied, all the privileges, right? And he sort of tried to use that language of like, oh, well, you have privilege, so you shouldn't be asking for help towards that Spirit Airlines employee. But he's not acknowledging that he himself has those privileges, and that's why he is blessed in his ability to have this job. He would not be nearly as successful if he were not a white man at the end of the day. Even if he was like bullied for, in some ways not completely conforming to gendered presentation by like wearing makeup and that kind of thing. At the end of the day, he is a white man and he does get a lot of privilege through that. Also, Kat Black literally talked about how a lot of his makeup looks and aesthetics he actually stole from a Black creator that was coming up around the same time. Poetic drugs that he appears to have stolen a lot of his looks and aesthetic from. But sure, he's blessed. It was just blessings and working hard.
In my personal opinion, though, it should be a last resort. If you disagree, that's totally fine. That's your personal opinion. I'm not going to apologize for having mine. There's a lot of people responding back to the video being like, oh my gosh, he has no idea how hard the job market is. I've been applying for new jobs for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years now, and I've literally heard back nothing from any of the jobs. I'm sorry that that is happening to people. I know that the job market fucking sucks. I've heard so many horror stories. I can't even imagine what that's like. Those are the people, in my opinion, that are totally valid and asking for help. The person that I made the video about yesterday lost their job last week at Spirit Airlines, along with 17,000 other people. And great.
There's a couple of things happening here. I really, the like, oh, this person deserves help more than this person because they jumped through more hurdles thing that James Charles is doing is just so fucking annoying. I currently volunteer in like harm reduction needle exchange, which I actually was thinking about making a video on peptides through that perspective as somebody that like interacts a fair amount with the same supplies that peptides users are using, but in a very, very different context. This idea that James Charles has of like certain people are more deserving of that GoFundMe money from him kind of reminds me of people that think that the people that the organization I volunteer with helps are less deserving of care. It's another version of him sort of crashing out because this person like doesn't follow him and hasn't interacted with any of his posts. He's just putting forward another hurdle. It's just a hurdle that he thinks that his audience will be more willing to accept. They're not. He deleted this video.
I don't know this person. Maybe making a GoFundMe link was really their last resort. I just personally did not believe that to be the case because I know for a fact that they sent this same exact DM to hundreds of different influencers and celebrities. This person did not follow me. They have never DM'd me previously. They have never supported me on any social platforms. They have never purchased from Painted. This person was literally just spam copying and pasting this DM to every person that they assumed had money to offer them. And I'm sorry, just because somebody has money does not mean that you're entitled. I'm sorry if that comes across as insensitive or privileged or mean, but welcome to the real world. It's fucking hard out there. Nobody owes anybody anything. The universe will constantly remind you of that. And a little bit of effort goes a really, really long way sometimes. I stand behind what I said 10 toes down. Instead of spending an hour copying and pasting the same DM to 100 different celebrities or influencers, you could have spent the same amount of time copying and pasting a job application to...
Okay, I'm gonna be done now because my dad is downstairs and I think he can hear James Charles and is getting annoyed, and honestly, like, fair enough. Yeah, at face value, James Charles is right. You're not entitled to anybody's wealth, right? Nobody owes you anything. But that's just, like, such a depressing way to live. Yeah, it's not owed, it's not required by the universe, but you should do it anyways. I don't know if this is too unhinged of a connection, but a couple of years ago, my friend was going to Catholic school, and the only thing that she wanted for her birthday was for us to watch God is Not Dead with her because it was a required viewing for some class. And it was still over lockdown, actually. So that was her like pandemic birthday party, as we all watched it over Zoom. But anyways, God is Not Dead is like a I don't know, Christian propaganda film, right? And it's about a student who ends up in this situation where he's debating his prof in this ethics class for the entire, like, multiple classes about whether or not God is dead, because the prof wants everybody to sign a piece of paper that says God is dead at the beginning of the class. The movie has a lot of issues with like racism. I haven't seen this movie in a while, by the way, so I could be wrong about this, but something that really stuck with me about that movie was that one of the points that the Christian students makes is that if there isn't the incentive to get into heaven, why would you want to do anything good?
They're saying that we need a God to be moral, that a moral atheist is an impossibility. No, but with no God, there's no real reason to be moral. I mean, it's not even a standard of what moral behavior is.
And that's meant to be sort of a like, haha, gotcha at the teacher, but it's just sort of a like, that's such a sad way to live. Why do you feel like you have to get something out of it to help somebody? Like, if you have the resources, just do it. And if you have the resources and you don't want to, shut up about it. And I know a bunch of people have already made this point, but you know, James Charles, he probably would have felt much more inclined to help this person if instead of being a woman, she had been a teenage boy.
I've talked to guys that live in different states and stuff, and I'm like, hey, like, why don't you come visit? And like, well, I can't afford a plane ticket. And it's like, okay, well, I can. So like, get on the plane. And like, well, I just don't really feel comfortable with that. But like, I love you and I really want to be together. And I'm like, well, we can't be together because you can't afford a plane ticket. You're probably still in either high school or college, like a senior in high school or in college.
Right.
So like, either you accept the flight and realize that like this is what I'm bringing to the relationship, so we can spend time together if you actually care about me, or we literally never meet.
I know I used that clip in my last video, but I literally cannot get over it. Actually, like, that's wild. That's wild. That's wild. The woman who made the GoFundMe did come forward, and she's not white, which in some ways actually makes James Charles's initial video make more sense to me because we've been talking a bit about the white privilege of it all, right? But it also makes it so much worse at the same time. Like, he got on TikTok and called this woman lazy. I feel like that moves beyond a microaggression, right? But just like Jackie Ina said, he knows he's not really gonna get canceled because he's a white man and he's gonna say this all with his whole chest anyways.
I understand not wanting to be a bank. I understand not wanting to be treated like a disposable source of income all the time. I understand that. I get it. But not responding was also an option. A very respectable and easy option. You simply could have just not responded. It's the fact that you turn on your camera, you recorded this, seemingly sober, question mark, and you posted it. For what? You thought we was gonna be on your side? Absolutely not. What's particularly annoying about this is that I know ain't nothing gonna happen. I'm not saying that I want something to happen to you, but all I'm saying is, as a white man, you can turn on your camera, talk absolutely crazy out the side of your neck. It's going to warrant zero consequences for you, much like many other things.
Which I haven't seen as many people talk about this. But the sister squad that James Charles was part of.
OMG, it's editing, Alexi. What I meant to say here was like tangential members of the sister squad. I know that Jeffree Star and Tati Westbrook weren't technically members of it.
Back in the like 2010s, that's where By Sister comes from, were horribly racist towards Jackie Aina. And I've been trying to figure out why James Charles seems so genuinely angry in that clip. And why influencers are mad we aren't enjoying their showing off designer handbags or haul videos anymore. It's almost like they think we owe them something. They almost seem entitled to our views and praise. In my Googling, I actually did find this quote by UC Irvine Psychology Department Chair Paul Piff, which I thought reflected the whole situation pretty well, actually. Piff said on a podcast, "Those who had earned their wealth had a certain story that they could tell, and the story that they could tell was one of deservingness. And so if you are not equally wealthy, if you're in need, because I know that it's possible to have made it and pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, it's your fault that you haven't been able to do that, at least yet." And so that story allows room for blaming others for their own misfortunes as opposed to giving rise to willingness to help them. And again, I don't think James Charles grew up poor by any means, but I also don't think that he grew up with a family worth $22 million. And what I thought was so interesting though was in that first apology, he's engaging in exactly what Piff describes.
I started from literally nothing and had a dream for myself and was determined to literally do anything to make it happen.
He's using a "it's your fault that you haven't been able to find a job" mentality.
No desire to actually put in the effort to try to fix a problem and get themselves out of a situation. They immediately result in asking for help.
He's blaming this woman for her misfortunes and refusing to help even though he could.
I'm sorry, just because somebody has money does not mean that you're entitled. I'm sorry if that comes across as insensitive or privileged or mean, but welcome to the real world.
And that was like fascinating to me, especially because he previously co-opted social justice language to give her a perceived position of privilege in his first video.
People lose their jobs every fucking day, and you're white, pretty, and able-bodied.
But he seems to be so removed from talking to normal fucking people, I guess. He didn't realize that he was just saying word salad, and people would pick up that he was literally making up another reason for us to be on his side. And I say another because he already doesn't respect his audience to the point that he just assumed that they would point and laugh at the working class with him and that they wouldn't understand that he was laughing at them as well. I think part of what offends James Charles is that he knows he owes his audience, in particular for sticking by him after so many cancellations. And if he knows he owes his audience, he can't really be self-made. That cognitive dissonance will piss you off, I guess. But yeah, thanks for watching some of my expanded thoughts on James Charles. If you're wondering why there's so much interview with the vampire stuff behind me, go check out my video posted before this. It's a very different style than what I usually do, but I had a lot of fun with it. My outro song is Take a Vacation by the Young Veins. If you heard any weird noises in this video, it was probably either my very, very old dog breathing or my dad cooking dinner. Thank you so much again for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I love replying to comments. I love to yap online. I also respond to emails. My email is aluciasonline@gmail.com, and I also now have an Instagram, which is also just Alexi's Online, if you want even more access to my life. But yeah, thank you so much again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.
I need to take a vacation.